Welcome to a new Football Manager 2016 series on my channel, where the objective is to do it better. This week we try and save Premier League stalwarts Aston Villa from relegation. With Benteke and Delph finding pastures new last summer, Tim Sherwood signed up some new recruits. But after only 10 games, Sherwood was sacked following a defeat to Swansea City, with the only win to his name coming against Bournemouth on the opening day, and it was left to Randy Lerner and the board to find the new boss. Remy Gard was chosen but was unable to turn the fortunes of the team around. Villa fans were becoming equally frustrated and let the board know. Bedsheet signs and walkouts weren't helped by the actions of Agbonlahor and Lescott on social media. Gard left by mutual consent and Eric Black was brought in to see out the season. A defeat to Manchester United confirmed Aston Villa's relegation from the top flight for the first time since the Premier League's inception. And now it's left to me, Dr. Benji FM, to see if I can do it better. Hello then folks, welcome to my new series called Do It Better. Play the jingle. No, we've done the jingle. Okay, fair enough. Hello then, if you're new to this, what we're going to do is take a Premier League team on this occasion. It could be any team though, so do leave suggestions in the comment section of teams we're going to try and do it better with. Now, it was very well documented this season, as it always is every season, that Aston Villa had a very poor year, bad year. It's bottom of the league, not a lot of points, and we have to try and do it better. Now, the objective isn't just to finish 19th, because obviously Villa finished 20th in the Premier League. The objective is to finish up there, 16th. I mean, safety. That's the objective. Avoid relegation was the objective set out by me. And that is interesting. Obviously, you can see on the screen there that Aston Villa bought a lot of new players in. They bought a lot of players in. They sold a lot of players that have sort of been old heads. I've got a list here as well. We've got Scott Sinclair was brought in. Micah Richards, Mark Bunn, Guay was brought in, and Marvey, Jordan Ayew, Vertout, Gisted, Traore, Lescott. A lot of players. It was quite a nice mix, you know, quite a lot of youth, quite a lot of experience, and it wasn't just that they gained that, they obviously lost that as well. You look at players like Darren Benton that were moved on, Matthew Loughton, Vyman left as well, Ron Vlaar, Shay Given, and obviously the big two, Fabian Delph and Christian Benteke. It was how would they rebuild, losing their captain and their key striker, and, well, as we saw, it didn't go very well. Tim Sherwood tried his best, but it didn't quite pay off. So, what we're going to do today is get into the Football Manager side of things and decide what I've done. What we're going to do, this is going to be sort of a 5-episode format each time. This is the first time I'm going to explain it, but from this point on, you'll kind of get it as we do different teams. So, let's take a look. What should we do with Aston Villa? Well, I figured we'd stick with their idea, get a bit of experience and get a bit of youth, but not necessarily youth anymore, but someone that wants to prove themselves, someone that's maybe been around the Championship and has got a point to prove. So, let's take a quick look at what we've done in the transfer window. So, we've got some big earners off the wage bill. Ali Sissoko, Kieran Richardson and Gabby Agbonlahor have all left the club. I don't want them. Get out. Leave. You're wasting my time. Gabby Agbonlahor, clearly a troublemaker, and actually, when you look at the attributes of Gabby Agbonlahor, you can see that apart from the fact he's very, very quick, he's actually not that good. So we've moved him on. And the players we've brought in then, we'll start off with the guy from Arsenal. Bit of a surprising one. In the final year of his contract, Matthew Filibini has been brought in. Good marking, good tackling, mentally very good, physically still okay for someone that's 31. And I think he's the right blend of experience that we need. Tough tackling, will work hard, ball winner in the middle. And it's something that I think, in terms of Aston Villa this season, they've lacked that protection in front of them. And I think Flamini may well offer that. Let's take a look at the striker we brought in then. Chris Martin's been... Not that one. No, cut out. No, not that one. Chris Martin, formerly of Norwich and of Derby County, where he's been having some very successful seasons in the Championship. And I figured for £4.5 million, it was worth the step up. He's got fantastic finishing, can work the channels very well as well. Stamina's very good work rate. Not necessarily the complete striker, but a striker that can be brought in not to fill the void of Benteke, but help the void of Benteke. I don't think Aston Villa were in a position to sign a striker arguably as good as Benteke was for them. Obviously, he didn't have a great season with Liverpool, but as good as he was for them. So what we had to do was try and find players that could each provide 5 or 6, maybe 10 goals, but not each, but you know what I mean. Get around that 30 goal mark that Benteke left, the 25 or 20 to 30 goal mark that Benteke left, and that was where we wanted to aim at. So we've already got Jordan Ayew, we've already got Rudy Gestede that have been brought in, and now we have Chris Martin to go alongside those, obviously losing Gabby Agbonlahor. 3 strikers. We're only going to play 1 in the system that we're playing this season, and I've tried to cut the squad down a little bit. I felt like it was too full of players that frankly weren't very good. So as I say, I've sold 3, we've moved a few onto the under-21s, and this is the team that I intend to play, especially for the first half of the season. I want to be defensively solid. I want to give us a platform to build from. So, Brad Guzan in goal, Alan Hutton at right back, Amavi as a wing back, slightly more athletic than Alan Hutton, Lescott and Richards, obviously 2 England internationals we shouldn't forget. Lescott, Premier League winner, Micah Richards, sort of a strange career, isn't it? Started so brightly, expected to be this great player, never really worked out for him. In front of them, we've got Guay and Vertout. I think that's how you say it. I'm sure there's a different way to say his name. Vertout, maybe? It's difficult. Yeah, maybe. Has he got a first name? Jordan? We can't call him that. Jack Grealish and Scott Sinclair on either side. We've got Carlos Gil, who was a player that flourished under Tim Sherwood when he first came in. He brought him into the side. He wasn't really being used under Paul Lambert. And then it kind of went south for him and didn't feature so much. And obviously we're going to start with Chris Martin up top through the middle. We've got Jose Corre and Adama Traore, 2 players that I think are very good. I think we can definitely get the most out of when they're back from injury. Both out for 2 to 3 months. So when they come back, 2 players I will look to integrate into the first team. Rudy Gstead currently out of injury as well. Players like Charles Nzogbia, players I've tried to move on. Just no one wants Charles Nzogbia. I mean, can you blame them? He's not very good. So I wanted to go for a counter-structured style. I wanted to try and break them, hit them early, and exploit where we've got pace. Scott Sinclair on the left-hand side is absolutely rapid. Not as quick, slightly quicker than Jack Grealish on the right, so I don't want to try and overload Jack Grealish too much, especially with Alan Hutton on that side. But I want us to run at the defence, I want us to look for that overlap, pass into space. As I say, we've got the pacey wide men. Let's pop it in the channels for Chris Martin. Let's get the ball moving forward. I want us to play fairly wide, close down a lot, keep the tempo just a sort of a flat rate though. Don't overwork yourselves. I don't want us to get pulled out of position too much, essentially. And as I say, run at the defence, exploit the left flank, pass into space. Scott Sinclair is my key man. You can see Scott here, very quick, got a little bit more about him than someone like Gabriel Bonlahor, but can play as a natural left-sided player, either as the sort of the left midfielder or the left winger. So we've got him into the team, and hopefully he'll provide some good moments for us. So the way it looks is we're going to start things off with a game against Newcastle United. They are the home. Well, no, so we're at home. Opening day at home. Oh, yes. Well, hopefully banners and such will be left. For those wondering, we're starting on the winter update rather than the January one. I did a poll on Twitter and then decided the winter update would be the best one. Essentially, it's do you want Leicester to be buffed or not? As in, do you want Leicester to be better than they were at the start of the game? And everyone decided, yeah, do that. So, let's get into things. Newcastle United. I've run you through the team, so let's get straight into the game. Bloody green screen. Who the hell do I think I am? We'll give Chris Martin the number 10 shirt, and I will talk you through the way we're going to do this then. It's going to be 5 episodes. I touched on it at the start. 5 episodes, 4 or 5 episodes, depending on the team. And we're going to progress through the season and see how we get on. So there's going to be an update now at the start of the transfer window. If we just pause the game there, bring everything in a little bit and bring up the match stats. So we're going to start things at the start of the season. Then we're going to go to around November, see how our progress is. Then the January transfer window, see if we can do any business in there. Then around March, and then a final day. And we'll see if we can, essentially, if we've done it better. And the point of this is, folks, that I want you to see if you can do it better as well. Load up a save, do a season with Aston Villa. Let me know either in the comment section of the videos or on Twitter by sending me screenshots and whatnot on how you're doing with Aston Villa. And maybe towards sort of the back end, maybe we'll do like an overview of people that did it well in a shorter video or something like that. I don't know. Let me know what you think. So let's get into today's game. Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Can we do it better? This is the first place we're going to try and find out. What's it going to bring I've put up a mini radar by accident. I want our team ratings to be there to see who's performing well. There we go. Lovely. Oh, isn't that fancy? Right then, Newcastle United, obviously the team that went down along with Norwich. So 2 relegation rivals. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? As I think another team that massively underperformed. A few people did say, "Oh, why don't you do Newcastle?" But I actually think the Newcastle squad is capable of top 10. They just didn't play very well, did they? Throughout the season, McLaren didn't really get them ticking over. And I think our squad, it's got a lot of potential. I just think it was completely unfound and there was no confidence within this Villa side. So what I want to try and do, keep it steady, keep a steady ship and look to gain confidence throughout the season. But as mentioned, Newcastle, good side, so this could be difficult. Okay, first chance of the game, and Jose Perez has scored. So that whole let's keep it tight, don't let them get through thing hasn't worked so well. They've also got Dumbia. Obviously, Dumbia was a January signing for Newcastle, but he starts for them today. So that does make him a little bit stronger. You can see a Turbe scored for Bournemouth against Manchester United as well. Another player that obviously came in during the winter. John Joe Shelby's hit the post. I'm a little bit fearful that Newcastle might beat us today. I mean, they are 1-0 up, so they've started well. Okay, at half-time, we are 1-0 down. Newcastle have had Well, I'd say the best of it. So let's see. I think team talk wise, we don't want to get too downbeat early on. Come on, boys. I know you can do much better than this, and I expect to see it in the second half. With our formation, with the tactic that we're employing, I do think we can afford to push the wide players forward. In fact, we might do that early now, actually. Push Grealish and Sinclair forward. Still keep the solid base. I think Gwen and number 17, we'll call him until I can figure out his name. I'll research it for next episode. I'm going to go with Vuntout. It's not that. I know it's not that. They'll stay deeper to cover Lescott and Richards. Hopefully Amavi gets a little bit further forward, as does Alan Hutton. In fact, we're going to change Alan Hutton to an automatic and see if we can push him on. Okay, into the second half. A draw would be a good result at this point, so let's go for that. One position I didn't think a change in was Brad Guzan in goal. Had a particularly poor year for Aston Villa, to the point where Mark Bunn replaced him in the latter parts of the season. So, yeah, it was a position I wanted to strengthen, but in reality, couldn't get anyone better. And that sounds bizarre, but I couldn't. Okay, a little bit of pressure from us. Newcastle are going to have to work it out of a pretty difficult situation as it's headed back. Carlos Gil's got it now, plays it inside, and now Sissoko has got options either side of him if he chooses to pick one. He finds Jose Perez, who plays a very direct ball to Dumbia, and it's cut up by us very well. Chris Martin a little bit isolated at the moment. Carlos Gil not really near him enough, and could be to do with us not having the ball so much, especially within the highlights we've seen. As Sissoko goes through, Guzan with a good save. Apparently it's been 50-50 possession. We've just done far less with it than Newcastle United have. As the corner comes in, Wijnaldum heads wide. Now, it might be a case that because we're in the game, despite not trying to retain the possession, retaining the possession and not passing into space might work better for us. Get Carlos Gil involved a little bit more, we could be laughing. Okay, 15 or 10, 12 minutes left to go. Opening day. Not going so well right now. We're going to bring Flamini on for Doubt, because then I can say his name. For Tout, I don't know what it is. But ball winning midfielder on support. We're going to push these two midfielders slightly further forward. In fact, we might bring Carlos Sanchez on as well. Completely refresh the midfield. What does Sanchez prefer? Another ball winning midfielder. I think if you put, two of those is a little bit overkilly. We'll put him on support. I think he'll do a fine job for us. And yeah, Jordan Ayew perhaps for Chris Martin. We'll make a triple change. 12 minutes left to go. We'll go attacking. Can we find an equaliser? If not, it could be a long old season. So I guess we'll see. Obviously, if we score now, the players I've brought on, bags of confidence for later in the season as Mika Richards is one-on-one with Dumbia, plays in Wijnaldum. Good save by Guzan. Wijnaldum, very good footballer, it should be said actually. So he's caused us a few problems today. I need to put the ball in. Grealish clears. Just over 10 minutes left to go. I don't know if we're going to get this back. Okay, not looking good. I'm sure lots of you will have ideas for how we could improve the Villa side. But if you do have ideas, as mentioned before, find out what they are, do a save, and hopefully you'll do better against Newcastle than we've done. It's Aston Villa 0, Newcastle 1 in a relegation 6-pointer. We're already on -3 points according to the league table. City won their game, they go top. And yeah, quite a few teams lost, so I'm not too concerned about it just yet. Swansea took a battering from Manchester City. So, as mentioned at the start of the episode, this brings us to the end of the first one. If you've enjoyed it, it is a new series. Drop a like on it. Let me know you're enjoying it. And yes, have a go at it. Let me know. Twitter at Dr. Benji in the comment section. Let me know how you're doing. Send me pictures so I can see how you're doing as well. And yeah, it should be good. So after episode 1 with Aston Villa, we lose our first game. The question now is, can you do it better? Give it a go. I'm doing my best. And yeah, we'll see how we get on. See you again in around November time. We'll see if we've improved things at that point. Right then, be lovely, care. Until next time, I'll see you again on Do It Better. Goodbye. Do It Better. I'm still pleased with the title, so, you know, it's enough for me.